Co, I think you said something about Marathon, did you not? Because there is some news on Marathon.
Let's hear it.
At a recent, this was June 13th is from the article I'm reading. It was at a investor conference? I'm trying to find a investor focused interview. They had Herman Hulst, the CEO of Sony Interactive Entertainment Studio Business Group. That's a mouthful.
I was gonna say, wow, that's a whole lot.
He was asked, about Concord, and he responded and admitted that feedback to Marathon's recent alpha test had been, quote, varied. But he did insist that the game will be releasing during Sony's current fiscal year, ending in March 31st, 2026, and promised that it made the mistakes that it made with Concord would not be repeated. The full quote is, quote, live service, we really see that as a great opportunity for us, Hull said, but with this great opportunity are some unique challenges associated. We talked about some early success, as with Helldivers 2, we've also faced some challenges as with the release of Concord. I think some really good work actually went into that title, some really big effort, but ultimately that title entered into a hyper-competitive segment of the market. I think it was insufficiently differentiated to be able to resonate with players. That is some business speak there.
Well, not only is that business speak, the thing that's very concerning about that is every single gamer could have told him that 6 years ago. Yeah. Like that's business speak for gamer common knowledge.
Right.
That's wild.
It goes on, and quote, and so we have reviewed our processes in light of this to deeply understand how and why that title failed to meet expectations and to ensure we're not going to make the same mistakes again. As I said earlier, we've introduced much more rigorous processes for validating, for revalidating our creative, our commercial, our development assumptions and hypotheses, and we now do that on a much more ongoing basis. That's the plan that will ensure we are investing in the right opportunities at the right time, all while maintaining much more predictable timelines. For Marathon, it's our goal to release a very bold, very innovative, and deeply engaging title. It's going to be the first new Bungie title in over a decade, so we're really excited for that release. We're going through the test cycles. We're monitoring closed alpha cycle the team has just gone through. We're taking all the lessons learned. We're using the capabilities we've built in analytics and user testing to understand how audience are engaging with that title. Some of that feedback, frankly, has been varied, but it's super useful. That's why you do this testing, the constant revalidation of assumptions that we just talked about. To me, is just so valuable to iterate and to constantly improve the title. So when launch comes, we're going to give the title the optimal chance of success. This cycle of, I'm not done. This cycle of test, of iterate, test again, is such a key component of the live service's success, both leading up to launch, but also throughout the life of the game. And we're committed to continuing to leverage our learnings to maximize engagement and player satisfaction throughout the life cycle of the title.
And scene.
Man, that's for investors.
So the TLDR is we're not giving up on Marathon. It is coming, and they're just being quiet because they want to be, I guess.
Yeah. It's
sounds like bullshit to me.
I don't know, man.
It sounds like he's talking to a lot of investors.
It sounds like they're going like, wait. We're doing stuff with your money. We're doing stuff with your money. We promise.
Stuff is being done.
Yeah.
We are doing stuff with the money. We promise. Don't worry. We are going to support this game after it releases.
Oh no.
Oh yeah. So that was a whole messy. That was a whole situation. I'm like out of breath and a little woozy after reading all that. That's a mouthful. I can't believe he went on. He said the same thing like 30 different times.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a bit.
Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Yeah, so there you go. If you're wondering about Marathon and where that's at, there you go.
So, are we like? I don't know. Like, have your I guess, sentiment towards the game changed? Like, do you want it to succeed still?
Marathon?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the like kumbaya thing is like, I want all games to succeed, right? Like, I don't want Marathon to be a failure.
Right.
It's one of those things where I look at this and look at the response to it and look at like the sentiment tied towards it, and I don't have the tools that a PlayStation, let alone 90% of the industry, use to like gauge that sentiment, because sentiment is a very big thing. There's entire departments at these companies that are their goal is to judge sentiment. I don't see how you can have all of those tools and not look at that and be like, yeah, we're fucked. Like it does not have, there's very little positivity around that game.
Right.
Then again, that might also just be, you know, my bubble where everyone is very active and like the hardcore community just shits on it. Maybe the masses are like, no, I'll play that. Maybe it'll be good. I
guess the best we can hope for is a No Man's Sky, like Frown Upside Down. Like, we fucked up, but you know, it will make it good.
Yeah.
You know,
I
eventually. Hope. How long did it take for No Man's Sky to get out from under that 8 umbrella?
Like a year or two. Now they're now you see tweets from people being like, yeah, I bought it on the Switch too. I don't own the Switch too, but I can't. They won't let me give them any more money and haven't for years, so I'll just support them any way possible. But I don't know. Yeah, that's my judgment on the Marathon thing. I would be very surprised if that game launches by the end of their fiscal year and it does like a complete 180. In both like how the game plays and how the game operates, and by kind of proxy, the general sentiment towards that. Because I don't, at that point, Arc Raiders would have been out for 6 months, depending on if it releases at the very end of it. And it's automatically already going to be like, you know, tied to that. And it even has like the meme name, which I think stuck with the Art Raiders or whatever.
Art Raiders,
yeah.
Yep.
Right.
So, yeah. With all that going for it, it's going to be tough.
I think so. I haven't played the original. I never played the original Marathons. I don't know what they're like or anything, but I've heard Code yap enough about it just to know that like this is nothing like the original, right?
Right.
I'm asking you, Co. Okay.
Yes. Well, it's nothing like the original.
So maybe that's how they turn this frown upside down.
I mean,
could be.
Do you? I guess to pull on that thread, do you mean in a everything sense or just in the gameplay structure sense? Because like it's still in the Marathon world, right? It's still lore wise.
So
within
what they're
that
doing,
ecosystem,
it kind of lore wise, it takes place in the kind of the wreckage of the previous game. The previous game was all about a guy killing aliens. There was some dimensional stuff, some timey stuff, but it was definitely a single player adventure versus aliens, essentially. So this is now a PvPvE extraction shooter that doesn't have many NPCs. So it's immediately a real different flavor. Also, there wasn't really anything about the cybernetics, like that whole cybernetic people thing. That's not in Marathon at all. That's all just new to this.
Oh, I thought that was like core to the Marathon vibe. Okay.
So that's all. And then the aesthetic is definitely not the same either. So that's where people, there is connectivity material there. They have put in stuff where it's like, yeah, they're in the wreckage of this. This is the old base, this, you know, that kind of stuff. But it's not really to any fundamental degree. It doesn't feel like it. It doesn't really look like it.
Yeah. I start to wonder, like, if Marathon ends up coming out and not performing well, how long do PlayStation like chase this live service is important to us trend that they've been doing for a while now? because they still have, you know, single player games coming out. Ghost of Yotai or whatever is coming out later this year, and they've had Spider-Man 2 and God of War Ragnarok before that and all that stuff. But I just wonder, at what point do they stop and realize, like, okay, let's stick to what we've been doing, and has sold pretty well for us in the past. If this is the last straw, but it might be the remnants of a Jim Ryan initiative or directive, and now that he's no longer there, maybe they shift focus after this. I kind of hope they do. I think live services are the like MOBA of the 2020s in a lot of ways, where there's obviously great ones, but not everyone needs a live service to make money.
The big problem that the industry doesn't understand is people don't like live service games. They don't like them. They like the IPs. They like the specific instances. They like Destiny 2. They like Path of Exile. They like Warframe. But they don't like them because they're live service. They like them because they're awesome games they love playing.
Sure.
So what's weird is we entered this period of time where it's like people thought that they were live service games. People like live service games. Let's get those live service games. And then they just released a whole bunch of games that felt like early access games. That's all it is. They launched super polished early access games that didn't have content, and they were like, we'll give you the content over time, but in many cases still charge you full price. So the whole thing is it's just, yeah, it kind of got corrupted in a lot of ways. But that's why you're not going to see like live service games just succeed everywhere, because people don't like them because of that. They like them because they're really good games that people enjoy. Focus on that part.
Yeah.
Yeah, that happens a lot. Like they focus on the wrong thing. Like if you look at BioShock, there's many descriptors that you could give to BioShock, but it's not like, oh, people like FPSs. It's like, that's not why I like BioShock. You know?
Right. Well, I think it, if anything, and I would love to get someone like Rami or really anyone with kind of a high position within the industry's point on it, but like in so many ways you can't. I feel like it's so hard to chase trends in the video game industry these days, because the trends change faster than the time it takes to develop a AAA game. And so by the time something comes out, we've already, the industry has already like moved on to the next greatest thing. Whereas the thing that you're putting out is like 4 years ago. And so I don't know like how AAA combats that. Whereas you have these
do what Rami said.
Yeah. But you got like these
Rami
agile
said
teams,
invest in weird shit. Take weird chances.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the answer to your question is you set the trends.
Okay,
So
yeah,
like
true.
you
true.
find the innovation that sets the next trend, and that's where the whole game design is iterative thing comes in, and that's where that really starts making headway.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that is. I'm trying to think the last time that like AAA was the trendsetter, but I feel like it's always been
AAA hasn't set the trend.
Yeah, it's
Decades.
It's always been kind of the
basic iteration.
The indie or double A driving it.
There's been a lot of very solid iteration inside of their kind of respective genres. Like I would say that, for instance, although you could very easily argue that God of War is a standard ARPG, like the playability of God of War was relatively, that was very inspirational for other games moving forward, even though it was a pretty standard implementation. So, and it was very AAA. And there's a lot of situations like that where they're not necessarily trying to innovate a lot, but their implementation is so well done that it's just incredibly solid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody said, well, someone said Doom in chat, and I would say, yeah, in most cases, but the last iteration was a bit controversial in that regard. Yeah.
I'd say your chat, there's a few people in your chat, JP, that would be the last trend was Overwatch, like that AAA set.
Overwatch
that I can remember was huge, and it was a completely new thing.
Yeah.
And it was a trend, and it was amazing.
Everyone had the hero shooter for sure. Yeah. Yeah, I guess that kind of would be it. I think you could also look at something like Dark Souls. I don't know which Dark Souls would be the trend setter. I don't know if it'd be I don't think it would be the first one. If anything, Elden Ring might be the trend setter. Up until Elden Ring, Souls was still kind of niche. So Elden Ring might be the trend setter there. And you look at like Witcher 3, that's also true. Vampire Survivors, that's probably Vampire Survivors might be the most recent one, but that's AAA, or that's indie, through and through. So
was TF2 would TF2 be AAA?
Team Fortress 2?
Yeah, because people are saying like TF2 came before Overwatch, and like, yeah, we're talking like.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know
that
if
was
those games
the
are
whole topic of conversation was
the same. Yeah.
Yeah.
TF2 is also like what, 25 years old at this point? Like it's
Pretty old.
Yeah, it's
right. But the argument is that Overwatch didn't set the trend. TF2 did.
Maybe. Yeah. Anyways, it's an interesting thought. I'll try to keep that in the back of my brain so we can ping Rami with it whenever he's on next.